Hi, and welcome to Section 2, Setting Up a Universal JavaScript Application Development Environment. In this section, we'll review Node.js and NPM, the Node Package Manager. We'll set up a basic application and install the prerequisites. We'll then configure Babel and Webpack, and build and run simple JavaScript applications. Now we move on to the first video of this section that introduces Node.js and NPM. In this video, we're going to take a look at Node.js and how to install it. We'll build a simple HTTP server and look more in depth into NPM. In the previous section, we looked at a modern browser and identified two main functional parts: the rendering engine, where the HTML and CSS go, and the scripting engine, where the JavaScript goes. We also looked at the various browser vendors, which have their own implementation of the rendering engine and scripting engine. We focused on the scripting engines and chose V8 from Chrome and placed it in a server-side JavaScript environment called Node.js. By doing so, we ended up with a way to have JavaScript run on both the browser and the server. The browser was our JavaScript client runtime, and Node.js was our JavaScript server runtime. Now, Node.js is made up of three fundamental parts. One, the node bindings. Since Node.js is written in both JavaScript and C and C++, bindings provide the glue code that exposes core Node.js internal libraries to the JavaScript environment. V8, which is the high-performance JavaScript engine open sourced by Google and implemented in C++. And 3, libuv, a C library that provides asynchronous features. Node.js is very easy to install. If you're using Windows or Mac, installers are available on the nodejs.org download page. Once installed, you'll have access to a new command called node. You can use the node command in two different ways. The first is with no arguments. This will open an interactive shell where you can execute raw JavaScript code. The other way to run Node is by providing it a JavaScript file to execute. In this example, we put the console.log message into a file and pass that file to the node command as an argument. Node then runs the JavaScript in that file and prints hello world. Executing a JavaScript file is almost always how we will be using Node. As you can tell out of the box, Node.js itself doesn't do anything in particular. Node.js is not a web server, but it does, however, have built-in modules that make it easy to create a basic HTTP server. In this very basic example, we start up an HTTP server that writes out a response. In the first line, we use one of the built-in HTTP node modules. The require function includes this module, and the module is assigned to the variable HTTP. The HTTP module has a create server function. The create server function takes only one argument, a function that will be called for every connection to our server. The function takes two parameters, an object representing the incoming request and another for the pending response. In this example, we pass a 200 OK response to the server response write head function that is written to the HTTP response headers. The string hello world is written to the body of the response. Once the server is created, we tell it to start listening to the incoming request on a particular port. Here we use port 8080. We can run this file and go to the localhost port 8080 in our browser, and we'll see the hello world text. This Node.js application will continue to run and respond to requests until we kill the process. Now, if we want to have a full-featured web server, then we have to do some work. But there's good news here. People have already done this hard work for us. One of the things that make Node.js interesting is the rapidly growing ecosystem of third-party modules. At the center of that ecosystem is NPM. NPM is the de facto standard package manager for Node.js, and it greatly simplifies downloading and using shared modules. Here we use NPM to install a framework called Express. Express makes creating most normal websites very simple. Here we use Express as a static file server. Anything we put in the /public folder can now be requested by our browser and displayed. So for example, if we put an image called myimage.png inside the public folder, we can access it using the browser by going to http localhost port 8080/myimage.png. Of course, Express has many more features that we'll be using in future videos.